This is Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with your hosts, Mark Geragos and Gary Smith.
Okay, GPS, how are you?
Mark?
AK, where are you?
I am in Palm Springs.
Don't you go, when people generally go to the desert, they try to get out of the kitchen. Why are you in the kitchen?
Because I am a good Armenian girl making Lula kebab for all of my friends that are drinking out on the patio right now.
Okay, it looked more like a beet mash. Is that beef? Oh, okay, it is. Got it. Sorry. It's just my camera's not so great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us and actually brushing your hair and not doing it or putting on makeup when you join us. And
I mean, I'm still distracted. You can't get all of my attention.
Yes, I noticed you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Gary, we had quite a week this week. But AK, I thought you could join because the DA's office in Menendez yesterday filed a document that is astonishing to me. And I know, you're in the case, I'm in the case, and, I would have invited one of the DAs on, but I'm sure that they can't, they couldn't be on for equal time. But objectively speaking, and Gary, you should link our filing. I can't imagine a worse response and more intellectually dishonest response than what was filed. And I'm looking forward to next week. By the way, when we have next week's episode, we will have already been in court. And I will tell you in real time that when they moved to, for those who don't know, the previous DA, George Gascon, had initiated a resentencing, which is under California law. If you have met certain criteria in the state of California while you're incarcerated, during your incarceration, and you commit no new offenses, basically, and you've done work on your insight and you've done work on internally in the programs in the prison, then you have the ability, either if the DA or the judge, or I think the warden also has, not the warden, but one of the hierarchy in the California Department of Corrections can initiate resentencing. So anyway, Gascon does it, and then Gascon loses the election, and Nathan Hochman comes in. Nathan Hochman, who previously, go on, Alex.
Hard middle. He's the hard middle because George was so long. He's the hard middle.
And speaking of hard middle, he also, he was on the press tour talking about doing the hard work. And we pointed out and basically he moved to withdraw, surprise, surprise. And I kind of held fire the whole time, hoping that he was going to be an honest broker. And obviously he wasn't. He was anything but honest. He was, like I said, he couldn't have been more intellectually dishonest. And we pointed out several things in our reply to his withdrawal. Number one, there was, out of all of the family members in the Menendez extended family, only one person objected to the resentencing, and that was Milton Anderson. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. He's now dead.
Is that recent news, by the way? I'm not sure.
Within the last month, he's passed away.
Okay.
And he was Kitty's brother. And Kitty's oldest sister, I put on the stand in November, and I'm not speaking ill of the dead.
Everyone loves Joan.
And I put her on. I think she was either 93, about to turn 94, or 92, about to turn 93. But Joan started to talk about Milton and talked about the family interplay, and basically said that this was somebody who had never been in their life to begin with. So, she found it very troubling. She said some other stuff, and I'm not going to repeat it. Well, the reason I bring that up is out of the 300,000 some odd lawyers in California, somehow Milton Anderson, the lone holdout of the entire Menendez extended family. He found one lawyer in California, 1 out of 300,000. I don't know what the odds are.
And
It's 1 in 300,000.
People to know that we are not allowed to solicit clients. We're not allowed to really go and say, hey, I heard you have this case. I want to be your lawyer. State bar rules really prevent us from doing that. You can chase the ambulance, but you can't get into it and talk to the person who's in there. So the fact that he somehow landed on her is extremely suspect.
And when I say her, it's Kathleen Katie, who I know. I tried a case against Kathy Katie many years ago, was a former DA, and she spent her entire expatriate life outside of the DA's office suing George Gascon and anti-George Gascon and on the campaign website for Nathan Hochman. I mean, she was endorsing Hochman. And somehow, as soon as Gascon initiates the resentencing, guess who becomes the lone dissenter's lawyer? Kathy Katie. And then guess what happens? As soon as literally he's just been elected, who's his first hire? One of his first hires from outside of the office is none other than Kathy Katie as head of victim services, which is just wild to me.
And didn't he also reassign 2 other people?
Oh, well, I'm getting to that.
We're getting there.
Then,
sorry.
Before he's even been sworn in, we point out that he takes the 2 line deputies. Mind you, Alex, for those who can't see her aren't on YouTube, is showing you her Lula kebab in the pan. So we're getting Armenian Mediterranean cooking tips while we're doing it. Jake would be very jealous that I'm not letting him make his debut here. But actually, he probably wouldn't. He'd say better Alex than him. So before he's even been sworn in, he takes the head of the resentencing unit and he basically fires her before he's being sworn in. And she's been shipped to the alternate public defender's office. Then he takes the assistant head, guy by the name of Brock Lunsford. I've known Brock Lunsford his entire career. You couldn't get a more prototypical prosecutor. I mean, this is a guy who is a career deputy DA, right, Alex? Nobody, yes. I've never heard a critical word except somebody who's probably gotten their ass kicked by him.
Right.
Right? Or a defendant who was upset because he got convicted. Brock Lunsford is no light touch. Brock Lunsford is a guy who's been there in the trenches, tried cases, and he gets banished to Norwalk. Right, Alex? You got cases. What?
Yeah, my side of town. He gets banished all the way to where I live.
But, which we call, by the way, for years, they call that in the DA's office freeway therapy. In fact, there's now a case we cited because I remember talking with Cliff about this, and Cliff says, what is freeway therapy? And I said, oh, man, it's obvious you don't live in LA County. It's a punishment you get in the DA's office and in the LA Superior Court. LA Superior Court, if you don't move your cases fast enough, they give you freeway therapy. You go to Lancaster, or if you live in the South Bay, they send you up to San Fernando so that you understand quickly that that's not what you should do. So all of that is done. And that's before Nathan Hochman has done the hard work. So we point out all of this, and they wait until Friday. And they file a response to ours, the fact, mind you, and they also, don't let me forget this, they completely misread what's called the C file. And the C file is the correctional file, probably, which they have at the prison. And they find a couple of infractions. Eric hugged a woman 20 years ago. Lyle, what did Lyle do? He wore the wrong kind of sneaker, and somebody had a cell phone or something. I mean, and they go back decades to find these things and say, these were not considered. We point out in our reply also that they had misread it. So talk about the hard work. They didn't even do the hard work of understanding what violations are. And we point that out. So we get back their reply last night, and I'm laughing. The 2 points where they were dismantled, footnote 4 and footnote 5, they've kind of said, well, we offered Brock Lunsford a position on the Menendez team. But if you read between the lines, you can see he wouldn't change his opinion. So we kicked him. We sent him down the freeway to Norwalk. And then footnote 4 is, well, yeah, we may have misread the violations. No harm, no foul. Doesn't matter anyway because they don't have insight.
We weren't working that hard.
What?
We weren't working that hard.
Yeah, we weren't working that hard, or we fell and hit our heads before we wrote the last one. And then they lean back in. My favorite part of the whole thing is, you might remember the press conference, Gary, where he's up there talking. Hochman's up there talking. And the governor, he said Suran's not going to be released because Suran, mind you, has no relevance whatsoever to a resentencing hearing because that was a parole hearing. It's separate. Look at that. You get. And so we dismantle that because there's one absolute fact that Nathan Hochman missed. Sirhan, when he was arrested, immediately confessed. And for the immediate period after the assassination, he talked about his culpability. Over the years, he lost his mind, lost his memory, and he's now presently denying that he was even the person who was arrested there. And so to the governor's point, when he denied it, this guy's got to talk about lack of insight. He's kind of either he's lost all memory or he's feigned it. Contrary to the Menendez brothers, who initially deny everything and then basically admit everything, including being on the grassy knoll, and end up instituting a laundry list of programs you could only dream of if you're somebody else. Ask Alex how many times I've said, these guys have gotten more insight and introspection in 30 minutes than I do in the last 30 years.
And they've done more for the inmates in the CDCR than the CDCR has ever done for them.
Yeah, it's just wild. And so they filed this document yesterday, and it's unbelievable, but we'll see. Well, next week we'll know where we're at.
So by the next time we record, will you guys have responded to that, or will you guys have been in court to address it in open court?
We'll be in court. This was our response. They responded to our response. Who knows? We might go back and forth, but we'll be in court on the 11th.
Wow. Okay. So coming up very quickly here.
Very exciting.
Exactly. So, and in other news, what other case would you like to talk about, AK? Karen Reed, as I'm in New York and I'm very close to, has not, they're in jury selection, but they have not started. Alan hasn't done the opening statement yet. And when I say Alan Jackson, who's down a block away from us downtown, is trying that case. And he's added a lawyer to the defense team, one of the former alternate jurors in trial number 1. I
did not know that fact.
Didn't you know that?
You did not know that?
I did not know that. I've been underwater this week having my own anxiety attack in my own case.
AK has been very busy, but the article that Los Angeles Magazine wrote about the opening for the second trial highlighted that fact. So that's where I learned about it as well.
Shame me like that, Gary?
I'm not trying to shame you. You've been completely underwater. I can tell you, AK has had a busy several weeks here.
Well, she was in the...
I have, but that is a very...
She was in the Suck My Dick trial.
Literally.
Okay, we have to explain that.
Well, you guys can explain it because I've never seen a transcript. You were getting dailies, correct? Dailies, for those who don't know, are transcripts each day on a long trial. So the court reporter will produce a daily transcript. Do we have some of it? Because it really is astonishing.
No, Gary, do not.
No,
Gary, do not.
So there's transcripts about Suck My Dick. There's also transcripts about what a gentleman your client is. And I thought he was a gentleman, at least. That when cross-examined as to why he stopped having sex with the woman, it was an olfactory.
Why she might have been offended after their meet.
And as to give a kind of a nuanced explanation that it smelled bad there.
Is this real life right now?
I don't know. I'm just gonna keep drinking.
I cannot fathom that we are talking.
Okay, so let's move on to there's also is that it? We're going to leave that case?
Also my client, I don't know which one is the lead, but I think you're bearing the lead that led us into Suck My Dick. There's a 34-minute audio recording that his ex-girlfriend made with the sole purpose of getting him in trouble once she decided to break up with him. Where on that audio recording, he says, "Suck my dick." I think it's 58 times.
I thought it was 56, but yeah.
Maybe it's please suck my dick. Baby, come over here, suck my dick. Come on, baby, suck my dick. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. Come on, just suck my dick. Why won't you just suck my dick? I mean, it's a typical conversation between, a man trying to get, and he even tells her, let's just do this. And you will remember all the wonderful memories that we have together. The feeling will bring back all of those memories.
It's quite something. I've seen some of the transcript and just some of the things that are on there or something else. It was quite the case, but thankfully it's over and we have AK back.
Leave the LADA's office to cross-examine the person and say, this is the first time you've ever told anybody about this. Yeah. Why is that? I didn't want to offend her.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would she be mad after you had sex? Why would she go home and say that she was upset? Well, because we were supposed to go out afterwards. You didn't go out afterwards? No, I actually stopped. Did you climax? I did not. Why not? I was turned off and I stopped and took her home. They were supposed to go watch a movie and they didn't take it that far. This is terrible.
On that note, Gary.
I mean, you're going to have to finish that sentence because I have no idea how that sentence ends, Mark.
On that note, we will see you next.
I hope it ends everything.
Yeah. On that note, AK, go for the Lula kebab. Gary, go take the kid out. And,
absolutely.
We will see and talk to you next week.
All right. AK, thanks again for joining us. That looks delicious. I'm very jealous. Have fun in Palm Springs, and we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to Reasonable Doubt. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt Podcast.